Hello YouTube world, this is Marco G here on Motorcycle Tips and Trips. And thank you for watching my channel and thank you for supporting by hitting the like button. It's that time again, the beginning of riding season, and we get all excited, but we forget that we don't do a T-CLOCS on the bike, we just take off. But on this video, we're gonna go over do a thorough T-CLOCS inspection before we ride. This is one of those important things that we overlook and don't realize how important it is, because we need to know the condition of our motorcycle before we ride. So we need to do this thorough inspection before we go, so we don't constantly have to do this. We just need to know what condition is it in. Do we need to replace a part? Do we need to replace our tires? How's our oil? All that stuff. So in this video, I'm going to show you the thorough what I do. Follow me to the end, so let's jump in. Okay, T-CLOCS. Most of us know that's an acronym, but we follow that acronym every time we're supposed to go for a ride. But I'm gonna go a little more thorough because, like I said, I need to know my condition of this motorcycle. So we're not only checking the tires, but stands for everything else attached to it. But in this case, we're checking for how the tire is. Is it dry rotted? Is there a nail in it? We have to check if it's uneven wear. Like on this case, I still have a little bit more to go, but I can start seeing the wear bar there. So I'm still good, but now I know I got to keep an eye on this tire for the rest of the season, because I believe by the end of the season, or before the end of the season, I'm going to need a set of new tires. So we're checking the brakes. Also, before we check, we spin the tire. You need to know if this wheel is sticking. For this case, it's sliding. We're good. That means the bearing's good. I don't hear no grinding. I hear the pads attaching, but there's no grinding. Here I'm checking the disc. It has some lines in it, not bad. I can still ride with this, but I could change it. It may need that, but that's your choice how you want to do that. I'm checking this cable. This is our speedometer cable, in this case for this motorcycle, Suzuki Boulevard. Also, I need to check the brake line. So far it looks here, there's no leaks. I'm going to press the brake and see it is working, so I don't have a problem with that. There is a thorough thing I do. I check for if this needs grease. That's one thing needs to be checked, because a lot of time you might have a sticking and you don't want that to happen. And especially when you go into twisties, you need your brake to work the way it's supposed to before you do that. Also, we're checking the rim. Is there any cracks, anything that's visible there that we need to know? Is it the spokes? You can feel the spokes, see if they're loose, and in this case it isn't. A lot of times you're not going to have a major problem, but this is your check-off list for the whole year. In this case, I already checked the tire, the condition. Also, if you have a drum, you need to make sure the indicator on this one, if you press on the brake, this line tells you how much brake pad you have. So you got to look at your manual where it tells you if it's warm, because you don't have to take off the tire. This line is going to indicate where the wear is. The next acronym is the letter C, and C stands for controls. But there's other things attached to it. They're talking about your handlebars. You need to check, see if they're okay. Are they moving? They're loose. You need to check that. You're checking your switches, see if they're working properly. In the aspect that there's still movement, where I'm not testing to see will start or cut off, but I'm testing that they're movable, they're functioning. Horn button is moving. And a lot of times, if I feel there's a little problem, you could take these apart and grease them yourself. And I advise to use Marina grease because it's more water resistant. Don't use a pressure washer to wash your motorcycle, because you start getting water all in here with the pressure washer and it washes that grease away. So don't do that. So you're checking this, you're checking your levers, make sure everything's working. You're checking your clutch, making sure there's a free play. And I will show you that next. So after you check your throttle, that you have your little little play in it like it's supposed to. You figure it out. But now the clutch is important, and a clutch has to have a free play. It's very important. I use 2/4 or 2 nickels. In this case, I have 2 nickels. It's not important that measurement. It's important about more or less to be that thickness. What you don't want is the clutch, you have it adjusted that the clutch plates are being pushed and they're not grabbing. You need to make sure that the clutch is completely compressed against the plate in there, and this way you have completely track, especially going on the interstate and all that. If you have pressure on it, then what's going to happen to release, you're going to wear your clutches. That's all the free play is for. So that's why 2/4, 2 nickels work just as fine. You can measure this if you want, what the manual says, but this is the rule, and it's real easy. You don't want where you're feeling pressure as soon as you're pulling. You need like a little play. That's what they're talking about right here. See that little gap? You just need a little gap. So this is normally your rule of thumb, and you could see it just slides in there. Any more, I'm pulling pressure on it, and that's fine. That's what I need it, but I need this little play. All that is letting me know that is not pressure on the plates itself where it's releasing and running and it's slipping. This avoids slippers, and that's all you have to do. So you pull a little bit, I mean, just barely, and if that don't fit, then you got to go back in here and put this back and adjust it on your bike. So let's move on. Okay, the next acronym is L, standing for lights, electrical things like the battery, checking headlights, horn signals, and all that good stuff, making sure all the switches are working properly, and that's what that's for. So I normally use a Gen 1 for a trickle charger of the NOCO. And I have one for this motorcycle, I have one for the other. I always keep it hooked up, even in the wintertime. You could get a Gen 2, 3, 4, but really the 1 is perfect for motorcycles. You don't need to anything greater than, unless you're using it for multiple functions, but I don't, I keep it on this motorcycle. So I'm checking here, make sure anything is loose. That's all you're checking. Corrosion, you don't want no corrosion. This is my camera right here. So everything looks fine. The wires are not loose, which is good. This is AVG battery. So I'm going to hook this up. I just want to make sure my battery is okay while I kept it charged over the winter. You don't want to have a weak battery and then you have a problem and it doesn't work. So that's why you always check all this just before you go, especially starting the season. Then now I'm going to check. Now here, you want it at 12.6 to 12. Anything below that, your battery is weak. You don't want that to happen. Now I'm going to see if the motorcycle is capable of charging this battery. So I'm going to turn the switch. I'm going to put this down, hold the clutch in, sensor's working. So right now it's 13.2. That's what you want. If it's down in here in this area, it's not charging your battery. It's not working properly, so you have to do something. But now that I know it's here, we're good. I don't have to worry about anything. So we'll cut that off. So that's one of the things, that's what I say, is a thorough T-CLOCS. You want to go deep. This way you know you're ready to go and run no problem. Let's go to the next thing. Okay, here just like the ordinary, you're just checking everything that's working. You're checking if the high beams and low beam is working. You're checking, make sure your turn signals is functioning properly. That's all you're doing. This way you know, you always check it, you know, whenever you go for a ride, but this definitely, you know, everything is working there fine. The horn is working good. So that's what we're doing. And everything's fine there. Let's check the back. Okay, we're doing the same thing. Make sure your signals are working, your plate light is reflecting like it's supposed to. Also, you know, if that's working, this should work. But your running light, let me shut this off. Your running light should be on, but you have to check your brake light. Here's your front handlebar, but don't only do the lever on the handlebar. Also your foot brake, make sure that one is working. Because sometimes you could press and like you're pressing, and finally comes on. That's not good. You need it, once you activate it, it's working where it's supposed to. Okay, the next acronym is O. O stands for oil, and actually any fluids. So you want to check the oil, make sure the level is right. If it's old, check your manual, see your book to make sure, is it time to change your oil again? If it's close, go ahead and do it. Get it done over with. If you have drive shaft, make sure your drive shaft is, the oil is proper. If it needs to be replaced, check your manual, replace it. It's not that expensive. You could change that every year if you want. Your brake fluids also antifreeze, you check on that. If you have a dry belt, you want to check the dry belt. If it needs to be clean or any damage on it, check the teeth, see if it's fine. If you have a chain like I have here, actually this chain is not dirty, but it'll be good for me to lubricate it, and it needs to be lubricated. Also, you have to check for the slack, and you measure that. Sometimes people take it in and so forth. Okay, radiator cap. You need to check your radiator cap, take it off, check your manual. When was the last time you changed it? See what they specify, what needs to be changed, and use the right radiator fluid for your motorcycle. Can't use a car, you need the one for a motorcycle. You're going to check your cap. You want to make sure nothing's damaged up here. So this is the main seal, you have to check it. And then this one, I don't know if you can see, there is like kind of engrooved where this was resting. Also here, it's engrooved where it was resting here on the inside. Because this has indentation for a while, and that one, that's telling me I need to replace this. When is this going to fail? I don't know. But because this has these indentation and it's rough, and there is a crack. I don't know if you can see, there is a crack there. I need to replace this. Check this, and this way you know you're ready for the season. Okay, the next acronym is S, and S stands for stand. You got to check your kickstand. If you have a center stand, you need to check that. And what you're looking for is like this case here, I'm moving it. It's not moving that easy. That's letting me know it's time for me to grease this. So I need to grease this. Also, very important, make sure your safety switch is working. Where you, of course, you're going to be sitting on your bike, put it in gear with the clutch, and then kick this out, and it should cut off your engine. That is very important. Some people like to bypass, but let me tell you, you don't want that to happen. You have it standing there and some kid come along and hit the button and cranks it up, turn the key, you're gonna wish you had that. Many incidents where I had to stop and I'm on a hill, I'm holding it, I just kick this out, first gear, boom, cuts off, it's holding me. So you need to have that. This needs to be greased. And also, next thing you have to check is the suspension. So on this bike, what we're trying to look for, on mine I have tubes, you can't see it, if it's leaking. This has been replaced, this is new, so I know it's not leaking, but I still check it. I use quick detail to clean my bike down, clean my shield, everything with the microfiber. But here, it don't hurt to spray with quick detail. It's like a wax. This makes this soft and lubricant, doesn't make it sticky. And this way, when I clean it, I'm making sure there's not crud stuck on there, because it will start eating into your seals. You check the rear spring, same thing. The shock back there, you got to check it, make sure there's no leaks. You sit on your bike, move forward, make it hit the brakes a couple of times, see if it dives in, it's working fine. If it's bouncing, whatever, you know then, hey, you need to rebuild this. Also in the back, you just bounce on it and see if you bottom out. If you bottom out, it's time for you to replace it. So that's what you're checking. You don't have to go in that order. I normally like to go brake everything and go all the way up, and I go thorough back. But I was just going over this T-CLOCS so you know what needs to be effective, especially for those that are not used to it. I'm hoping this is helping you, so hit like and subscribe. There you are. See, I noticed I need a radiator cap for this bike. I need to check underneath this tank, but that's where the radiator cap is. In this one, I need to keep an eye on the tires. I need to look at the brakes there. So that's why this is important. So I hope this helped you. Share my video with a friend. Please leave a comment. Remember, drive safe, drive smart. Like always, practice, practice, practice. See you in my next video. I gotta go because I need to go for my ride.